Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Welcome to the award-winning In Wheel Time car talk show. Coming up, the CEO of eBliss Global. You'll hear my thoughts on driving the new 2024 Lexus RX 450h Plus Mars.
You sure?
If you didn't see our tease, you'll understand why I'm giving him a little ribbing, because he pulled a quick one on me and put some other vehicle in there, and dummy me read it.
Did a little hokey pokey.
But we're going to do that review and not one from shows in the future.
Shows past.
Mars has this week's events calendar. That's all just ahead on the In Wheel Time 3-hour car talk show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. Engineer David Daisley is sleeping in this morning. I'm Don Armstrong. Boy, we got just back in time for our show this morning after a week-long vacation in the lovely city of Granbury and the Lone Star Street Rod Association State Run. Isn't that right, Mr. Morris?
Yeah.
Haven't
had a big time up there.
Haven't even had a chance to take a shower yet.
We know.
Just kidding.
Kidding. No, you'll never hear the end of that. Just kidding.
Yeah, but I've got it recorded. Not kidding.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I'll trade you.
It's 2 against 1.
Hey, don't get me in this. No, you and Sue's against him.
You're gonna help me kill him after the show. Anyway. Let's get right to our first guest, shall we? His name is Mr. Bill Klehm. He's the CEO of eBliss Global and the Always Bike brand. Bill, good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's good to have you with us, and thank you very much. Bill, first of all, tell us what the eBliss Global company is.
So we design, manufacture, and retail electric bicycles or e-bikes. We differently than most companies, we've taken a ground-up approach and redesigned the entire biking experience through our product and then our delivery system. Our primary delivery system is automotive dealerships, so it merges with my 35 years of experience being in the automotive and transportation industry, so we are rolling out across the U.S. in automotive dealerships.
Do you have any dealerships that says, you buy this car, we'll give you one of these electric bikes?
It's happening right now. So, in fact, anybody on your listeners who's driving on the 60 in LA will see a jumbotron with one of the local dealers displaying all of our bikes for 225,000 people a day. So, yeah, it's happening. Western Michigan, LA, Hawaii. We're on a roll.
Well, you're not the only electric bike maker around, are you?
No. There's about 50 or 60 of them in the United States today. I think what we try and differentiate ourselves is on the consumer experience. So we're focusing in on the ridership experience and the ownership experience. So we design all of our units to be completely sealed for transmissions, no chains, all belt drives, all hydraulic braking systems. So we've engineered out about 85% of the maintenance on the bike. So this is one of the things consumers really want. From my years in Ford Motor Company and on the maintenance and light repair business at Ford, consumers really would like to just enjoy their vehicle and not necessarily have it in the store to get maintained. So that's one of our big differences.
And I understand that you guys also have a leg up on battery and storage and longevity. You can go quite a ways on the bike.
Yeah, so we've engineered, so again, everything is around engineering what you want the customer to experience. So we have bikes that'll do 200 miles on a charge, which is pretty respectable. There's some cars that don't go 200
exactly.
miles.
Oh, yeah, I've experienced that. Yes.
Yeah, me too. So again, that's one of the things we try and do. Everything we do is UL listed. We're trying very, very, very specifically to manage safety and security for the consumer. All of our vehicles come with a VIN, so we have full traceability on every single manufacturing step in the process, every supplier, every operator that touches the vehicle. Same way I used to help build cars and trucks. You think about that the same way, right? Why isn't the consumer due that level of quality and assurity, right? Every single thing in our life is certainty and value. I want to make sure we are certain what that customer's experience is going to be, and I want to make sure the customer gets value for what they purchase.
What age group is your buyer, typically?
It's very interesting because the buyers range. Like the market is it's an omnibus market. We've got 16 to 25-year-olds. 60% of them are getting their driver's license today. You've got over 55 people who are coming back, who are what I call the golden gray, who are reaching retirement age but want to have that little activity, so they want to get on these things. Everybody has seen these now online. 1.8 million e-bikes sold last year in America. Toyota only sold 1.9 million cars in America. So just think about how big and how quickly this is becoming addressed.
Well, last week I had an opportunity to go visit my daughter, actually the week before last, up in Denver, and went to Boulder, the home of University of Colorado, and those things are everywhere. They're everywhere there, and of course the campus isn't too far from the downtown area, so it's an easy trot right down there.
Yep.
And but I found them actually. It kind of surprised me, the number of them that are there, and I would imagine that Austin, University of Texas being in Austin, and I would imagine that Austin probably has a pretty good hold on the e-bike market.
So what do you think the number one e-bike market in America is today? Just curious.
Just off the top of my head, I would say college campuses.
So Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minneapolis.
So
why?
Again,
Why?
The infrastructure is very friendly. Tons of paths and bike lanes everywhere. There's an urban environment next to a lot of trees and greenery and kind of green belt area, and that consumer rides all the time. It is very fascinating to me that one of the coldest places in the United States, in the 49 states other than Alaska, is one of the most popular places for e-bikes. But it's absolutely true. College campuses are huge. You asked a really good question earlier. So college kids and kids themselves are so used to now scooters and bikes and Lyft and Uber. They're not getting their driver's license. So again, college kids are one of our focuses moving forward. There's 119 million rides in a car where an individual gets in a car in the U.S. every day, 119 million times, and rides. That's alone, right? There's 647 million total, but where an individual gets in a car and drives alone. 29 million of those are less than 1 mile. And 50% of them are less than 7 miles. So if you just think about we as a consumer base and what's happening, our experiences on what we're willing to do every day, right, where we want to live, where we want to work, and where we want to commute, that's changing, right? The COVID, the amount of traffic congestion, all those things are training us that we want a different lifestyle. And that's, in my opinion, it's coming right to us around these e-mobility options. So we said, why not rethink the vehicle itself, and why not make it more car-esque for what consumers really appreciate and like? And that was the genesis of eBliss.
Do you see yourself actually offering somewhere in the future a car competitor with 4 wheels instead of 2?
So, I don't know that I would call it a car competitor. I would call it a ride competitor.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
So in the 70s and the 80s, Honda had a strategy of own the garage, right? So remember Honda, right? They had cars, motorcycles, lawn mowers, right?
Yep.
It was share of garage. I want to talk about share of ride, right? So absolutely, 4-wheel vehicles are here and coming. They're going to start with delivery, right? So it's going to be small cargo and delivery, 4-wheel bikes that are going to be in urban environments. That's going to be the leader in those things, I believe. And then we'll see. I think one of the fascinating things that's going on right now is when I was a kid growing up in Ford Motor Company, right? 1985, I joined Ford. And if you would have told me, one, that car dealerships would have, a Michelin 2-star restaurants in them, I would have laughed at you. Now they're quite prevalent. If you would have also told me that somebody could start a car company and make it the most valuable corporation on the world by themselves, I would have said no way. So the technical capability of the system is now rising. So there's lots of opportunities to make new kinds of unique vehicles that will satisfy consumers' requirements. And that's one of the things that we're really focused on.
Well, one of the things that comes to mind clearly is the fact that there was a study done recently by a research company that said of all of the people that buy EVs, 40% of those folks said, no, the next cars, we're going to go back to gasoline. Mainly because, I think, of the infrastructure not being in place for that. And I experienced that, and obviously you raised your hand when I brought that up. I spent recently with an EV press vehicle, I spent 3.5 hours over 3 days trying to find a working fast charger on my path of 30 miles between where I work and home, and it took me 3.5 hours to find it, and then I had to go in the opposite direction of home and hunt this thing down in another city that's near Houston to find one, a fast charger.
And then you had to charge it.
They're killing us.
Yeah,
they're killing us.
Yeah, well, I own an EF-150, and I worked for Ford Motor Company for 16 years, and again, my advertisement is I still believe they build the best trucks in the world, and I love my truck. I do not love the electric thought process, and I do not love the panic that happens when it's 97 degrees outside and you're watching your charge drop precipitously as you're driving down the road.
Yep.
And you pull into a charging station, and either people are just parked there, the chargers don't work, they're the slow chargers, all of those things. But I just want to remind everybody, right? You go back to 1900. What did the world look like in 1906, right? The world was transitioning from horse and buggy to horseless carriages. There was no infrastructure. There was no gas stations. There was none of that stuff, right? But consumer demand drove two things. They drove policy and infrastructure. Same things happening on e-mobility products, right? Consumers do want, right, those same studies, and I do read them all the time, consumers do want electrified lifestyle, right? They do want that. They don't want the inconvenience that you and I have experienced and is emboldened in our mind. I mean, imagine we're sitting on this radio TV program, we're having this conversation, and this is what we want to talk about, right? This journey is going to happen, but it's not going to be up and to the right with a straight line. You aren't going to mandate this from government, right?
Right.
Consumers are going to pull this at their time, at their pace, and we have to deliver vehicles and systems that satisfy what they want to go.
Well, I have to tell you, I am a bit worried. So obviously, we're a car show, and we all know about what's happening with car manufacturers. They went all in, spending and still spending billions of dollars on battery technology, battery factories, battery cars, and they're just now realizing, wait a minute, we're building way more than we can possibly sell. It worries me. GM has pulled back, as a matter of fact, and said, we're going to start up that gasoline engine factory again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, this is the whole thing, right? How do you gauge demand? One of the hardest things to do is to run a car company. I mean, imagine you got to predict 4 years in advance on what consumers are going to want.
Right.
You have to make commitments through the entire ecosystem of billions of dollars. You got to put your career on the line for this. And then if you miss at the beginning by 1%, by the time you get 4 years down the road, you're 40% off, right? So, because the trajectory just isn't there. So, it's amazing to me that that these car companies make these giant bets, but they're almost in a position that they have to. When the government throws a mandate out there and says, go do this, and by the way, this is a no-win situation for the CEO General Motors and Ford, all these guys. It's a no-win. They get told they have to do this. Consumers don't want it. They go to the shareholders and get a bunch of money, right? And then the consumers say, no, too fast, right? Not for me. It's a very difficult thing to bet on.
Sure it is. I mean, we've talked about this for quite some time, that it really is not a consumer-driven market, just like you said. You've got these guys trying to figure out what the consumer market is. Now you've got somebody coming in and telling them, ignore the consumer market, do what I'm telling you to do.
So again, it's always this great vision, right? We're going to be green, clean, all these things. It's a great vision. I buy it. The journey to get there isn't a straight line, and it isn't going to be that a government is going to mandate this. If consumers don't buy it, it's going to be a wonderful coat hanger sitting on the side of the road, right? That's all it's going to be. So as I look at this thing, this is the reason why I think I read that same study you're talking about, and people will go to a hybrid vehicle now is where everybody's wanting to go.
Yep.
And when you look at Toyota and you look at Honda and you look at those guys, they took a different approach than the U.S. automakers have taken and the U.S. government has taken, and they pushed back. You look at Allison Corporation, right? Fantastically run organization, stuck to their knitting, stayed right in the middle of betting on some hybrid technology, but didn't relent, didn't take the pressure from the government to go full on electric and make unintelligent investment decisions. And now it's one of the top performing stocks in the marketplace because people understand that they made the right bets.
You're not going to get an argument out of me on that.
No.
But I will offer this. I'm thinking, we're all kind of looking for a presidential candidate, and maybe you kind of missed the boat here recently and start running for the presidency.
Oh yeah. Who wants that job?
Exactly.
Right?
Amen.
I mean, I'm not going to go to Beirut, commonly known as Washington D.C., and get shot at from every possible direction. Right?
Plus,
winning.
You'd have to take a pay cut too.
Yeah, exactly. So, Bill, what can we expect from your company? We're going to expect in pretty much every high-end dealership in the United States? We're launching. We've got a dealer group in Western Michigan. It's called the Denoyer Group. They've been in business for 85 years, 6 stores. They've just announced, and this coming Friday, we're doing their kickoff with their 6 dealerships and doing a ride and drive right outside of Kalamazoo, Michigan, going all the way over to Lake Michigan area and all the way up to Traverse City. So that's our first launch. Our second launch is Los Angeles and Hawaii. Somebody has to do it, so I'm going to volunteer to do Hawaii myself personally. Yeah.
So those are kind of the next 2. We've got wonderful partners burgeoning on the East Coast as well. So we've had over 500 car dealers raise their hand and say they're interested in this.
Wow.
But I got to tell you, we're trying to pick the right partners right now.
Sure.
Who are going to think about this as a system. So again, the Denoyer guys, and that family is just amazing, right? 85 years in the automotive industry, right in the cradle of Ford Motor Company and GM and all that stuff. They're cross promoting all of their e-bike sales into their vehicle sales. So buy an e-bike, get 2 years of maintenance on your vehicle for free. I mean, they're doing all kinds of things because this is really around what does the consumer want in their life. The e-bike is going to be a part of that garage. I call it the hybrid garage. So it's an ICE vehicle, possibly an electric vehicle, and then possibly some short run vehicles like, electric golf carts, LSVs, or e-bikes. That's what I see as the future of the garage going forward.
Bill, where can we find the website for the Always Bike brand?
So there's 2 places. It all comes back to eBliss. So www.ebliss.global. So that's our center location.
Yep.
Our Always Bike brand is again alwaysbikes.com. So just please feel free to visit. And gentlemen, I would love to, when we roll one of these out in Texas, I would love to have you guys come out to the dealership and do a live broadcast.
Absolutely.
And have some fun, do some ride and drives with some consumers. I can tell you, when you talk about the most fun I have in my job, it's putting somebody on one of those vehicles and watching the smile on their face as they come back.
We just got back from the Lone Star Street Rod Association annual street run. Yep, 49 years. Next year will be the 50th year, and it's a bunch of guys that really like their wheels and they like diddling with cars, and they fit right on our mold. That would be one of those places that we would love to have an e-bike and let all those guys ride it. They would be in love with that.
Hey, listen, you guys take this on as a challenge. Next year for the 50th, let's do an e-bike ride and drive at the event. So
you got it. Granbury, Texas. Mark that down on your calendar.
I'm gonna absolutely get Adam to follow up, and we would love to join you guys.
Bill, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Best of luck to you, and keep us posted on the success of your company.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Love the show.
Thank you, Bill. We appreciate you. Hey, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream our 3-hour weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. And podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Well, I said that. How about this break?
Just kidding.
ProAm Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. ProAm is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. ProAm is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, ProAm's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. ProAm not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. ProAm is now reaching a worldwide audience through ProAm.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At ProAm Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and ProAm will lend you a hand. ProAm Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. Want to feel good about something special you did for someone special? In-Wheel Time and the original Lupi Tortilla group of Tex-Mex restaurants have joined together to help a very worthy cause, God's Garage, a Christian-based 501c3 charity. We know there are lots of places and organizations out there where you can donate a car, truck, or SUV, but we're asking you, our car enthusiast family, to consider donating to God's Garage. Visit godsgarage.org and learn about its mission, the women that have been helped, how each one is screened, and about their Restore You program. A car donation is an easy way to make a difference in the lives of others. God's Garage needs good operating vehicles, but will take all types in working and non-working condition. Make your heart and soul feel good by donating your gently used vehicle and help support single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military at godsgarage.org. Welcome back to the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show on this Saturday morning. We appreciate you joining us today. Time now for this hour's tap dance calendar, and Mr. Mars has that.
Go.
Oh, just kidding.
Just kidding. All right, coming up every Friday evening this month, I found out that there's a show and shine summer nights down at the garageultimate.com. You can find more information down in Friendswood, Texas. So they've compensated for the heat. So go check it out on a Friday evening. If you're looking for something to do, there's a nice show and shine going on down there. June the 23rd, the Northside Mustang Car Club. This is a rain date from earlier in March, but this is, if you're interested in learning how to make repairs on your cars, we're a car show. We like to play with cars, but maybe you've got some kids, grandkids, a spouse that would like to understand more about what to do on the car, understand oil changes, rotating tires. This is a deal that they've got set up to help people. A clinic. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. 10 to 4 p.m. And if you register by calling 573-931-3264, they'll put you on the list and they'll have some lunch for you while you're there.
867-5309.
Yeah. June 30th, Corvette Day Rally. Now, this is benefiting the National Corvette Museum. June the 30th, 4650 FM 2351 in Friendswood, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., $20 in advance, $25 after. Go to myvet.com to register. The fund benefiting the National Corvette Museum. The 28th of September, Woody's 6th Annual Waterfront Rod and Custom Show down in San Leon. We're going to be there again this year. Go to Woody's top. One more. Back to the Past Car Show, October the 19th, annual Open Classic Truck.
Brain hiccup there?
No, I just decided Jeff was giving me messages by giving me the finger, and I was skipping some.
We're all giving you the finger every Saturday
it's
morning.
It's an Open Car Show benefiting the Spring Branch Senior High School Foundation.
It's a guy in Idaho giving you the
Go to springbranchbears.com car show for more information. And we're going to be there live on that one.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to give the next car review any injustice, so I'm going to hold on to this, and not do it right now. Because we're running a little bit behind.
Yeah, I see that.
And,
that's okay.
Yeah,
we're
because
good.
I had the opportunity to drive the new Lexus RX 450h Plus, and I got to drive that up Pikes Peak.
Oh,
and it's a hybrid that Lexus has, and it is very interesting, the review that I'm going to give it, and I want to give it my full attention. So
yeah, because I'd like to be, I'm interested in the Plus. I had to do a little looking to find some pictures and stuff. So I'm really interested to hear what you got to say about that.
Yeah. It's a very nice vehicle, to say the least. Not only because they let me have it in Colorado while I was there to drive it for a week, but I was so impressed. And, you know, I've not been a big fan of the front end grille of the Lexus since they came out with that, what they call the hourglass thing. That just
grows on you, though.
They've toned it down, and it really does look good. And, boy, this vehicle is something else.
Well, they've taken the hint from the other Toyota models. Even though this is a Lexus, but the other Toyota models have that same fascia.
Yes.
So they've kind of come back from it, like you said, they've toned it down.
Then they've done a good job. So I'm going to do that car review coming up here in just a couple of minutes. I did want to remind you that you can get in touch with us.
What?
Do I dare?
The guy in Idaho is.
Yeah. Do I dare even give out this address? If you'd like to get in touch with us.
With us. Them.
Now you're being correct.
Is that your pronouns?
Shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. We will be back right after this quick break. We invite you to stay with us. Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around, and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6, or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupe's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupe Tortilla. Lupe Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.